New York, mecca of fashion, music, the high-rise, and of course art. On the outside, it may look like the fast-paced, overcrowded city it's credited for, but when we open our eyes and really begin to see it, this concrete jungle is truly a masterpiece. Joining me today is Jorge Otero-Pailos, whose specialization and passion are some of the most common things actually in New York City. Grime, decay, pollution, but you've actually raised it up to high art form. So tell us all about that.
Pollution is everywhere, but we rarely look at it. We rarely think of it as something that is around us. We spend our time cleaning it up and trying to get it out of the way and acting as though it doesn't exist. So I think it's time that we enter into a new relationship with pollution and we acknowledge its presence.
We're actually sitting in Columbia University at your office. Tell us a little bit about your practice as a professor and teacher here.
Well, I teach historic preservation, which is the art and science of caring for cultural objects. A lot of cultural objects suffer from being polluted. And so we spend a lot of our time thinking of ways to clean them as a way of saving them. And we typically discard the pollution away. So as a profession, we get rid of this incredible evidence of our past. And so part of my work here has been to try to rethink that. You know, how do we begin to establish a relationship to pollution? Because if you think of pollution, the definition of pollution is that which has no place in culture. So as somebody that works on monuments and cultural objects, I kept thinking, why don't we have a place for pollution in culture?
So explain to me how you as an artist accomplish that.
Well, what I do typically is that I paint monuments with latex. It's a liquid type of latex. As it dries, the pollution gets transferred onto that latex, and then I peel that latex off, and then you get the imprint. It's almost like a photograph of the building, of the monument, on that latex.
So there's also a great study of civilization involved on each of your projects. A little bit more history, possibly, than historians had realized.
Every project is a work of discovery for me. I think cleaning for most people is a sort of something you do mindlessly when you're finished with dinner. But for me, cleaning is really a way of knowing. It's a way of asking questions. It's a hermeneutic act. And you can see already all the pollution that has deposited on this building. Now, what we did here is about 10 years ago, we did some cleaning tests. And so we cleaned these strips.
And how do you clean them?
So here we applied latex, and we put latex strips and of different types, and then remove that pollution. So now this would be the clean limestone. You can see in just 10 years how much has accumulated again.
When people watch our show and they see this, what would you encourage them to do in New York City as individuals when they look around the city?
Well, I would encourage them to look around for traces of pollution in different buildings and to try to begin to date buildings according to how dark they are. But also to begin to think of their relationship to pollution and begin to consider ways in which they might influence the course of our production of pollution today. I think that would be extraordinary if we all began to act and think that way.